Alright everybody, Limited Run Games has done it once again. So today it is dropped and is available for everybody to get their physical versions of Limited Run Games' famous Maximum Collection. This Marvel collection is one of the best you can ever get. The last time the X-Men game was available was on the Xbox 360 and it was digital only. Limited Run Games is well known for giving you extremely rare stuff from the past in physical form in the future. So without these guys, my hats go off to you. Thank you, game designers, and thank you to Limited Run Games, everybody that works there. You guys are lifesavers. Without you guys, I don't even know what we would do. There's so many people out there that don't know about this that need to know. So that's why I'm dropping this video today. Oh yeah. So you can actually get physical versions of this. You pre-order them now. The window will stay open so people can get them. There is no special edition because special editions, they're working on that. They wanted to get this out fast and it's a great idea. So they'll set this in pre-production. They already have the digital available, so right now you can buy this game right now digitally. I would advise you to buy it digitally and get you a physical copy while you can. I would put that physical copy away and save it because you'll never see this group of games again. It is that rare. These guys know what they're doing. You can get it for the Xbox, the PlayStation 5, and the Switch. It has all of these games we're going to go over here in just a minute. So, the cool thing about this is it has Game Boy version, it has the X-Men from the arcade, it has everything that you could almost think of. Now, they are going to be doing a future collab with more X-Men, but they're working on that and some ideas, and we're tossing around ideas. If it wasn't for me, you guys probably wouldn't have this out so soon. It's real easy to just grab these games, port them over, and get the quick licenses stamped and approved. Okay, so all they have to do is throw the games on there, set the program. They're really good designers there at Limited Run Games. They know what they're doing. They can work fast and get this moving. If it wasn't for you, Limited Run Games, I would have to say life would be very boring. Now, what's important about Limited Run Games, everybody? What is important? They make physical games. They're making the games physical. As you know, digital content comes and goes these days, and it makes everybody very mad. We lost Xbox, movie, and TV because, well, obviously you know, because Microsoft didn't see it making anything. And that's because, for one, I'm busy and everybody else got busy and all kinds of stuff going on. Nobody was buying movies as much. And so they were all just going to YouTube and stuff. This is why it's important to buy physical. And these guys at Limited Run Games know what they're doing. If they did not do this, I'm telling you right now, it would be one heck of a boring life. These guys are great. They heard me out when I sent them a message and replied to them, and they got this out for a lot of people. I'd love to thank them in person. These guys are great. Without Limited Run Games, I'm telling you now, I have a ton of Limited Run Game stuff, and without them, a lot of people would just end up selling off their game collections and the prices would go through the roof. You know, but thanks to them, they kind of keep the prices at a balance or keep them down because stuff like this. Now this comes with a lot of games, okay? So you're not just getting X-Men. You're getting X-Men that was at the arcade. You're getting anxiety, separation anxiety, I should say. You're getting Spider-Man, X-Men Revenge, you're getting Silver Surfer, you're getting Captain America, and you're getting it on multiple systems. You're not just getting it on one design platform. You're getting it for the Sega. You're getting it for the Super Nintendo. You're getting it for the Game Boy. You're getting it for Nintendo. You're getting it for all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's awesome. So, this game, the last time it was available was on the Xbox 360 digital only. It's so rare to see this. So you can buy this right now, everybody, on your PlayStation 5, on your Nintendo Switch, on your Xbox. You better get it while it's hot, because in a few years the license is going to end and they're going to have to delist it on the digital store. So you really have to, now you have time to get this digitally. It should be available digitally for probably a few years, and then they're going to have to delist it, because that's just how these, like why would you pay for a license over and over for something that may not sell after it's ran its course? So also, once you buy it, you own it. It's yours, so you can play it anytime and download it from the store. And I would advise you to get the physical copies. That way, if you know, you lose your stuff, you'll always have the physical copies, period, end of it. And that's one thing that's very, very important about limited run games. If we didn't have people that did this for you, you wouldn't understand exactly how hard it really is for them to get this done. But they have an amazing developing team there. They're game designer guys. They're probably like some of the coolest guys you'd ever meet. And I'm telling you now, you gotta take some time out and enjoy the finer things in life. Step back, get you this game before it's over, you know, because these games right here, I'm just gonna let you know, it's only available to order for a limited time to get your physical stuff. So pre-orders close Sunday, May 24th, 2026 at noon. Or at night. I don't know if that's nighttime. I was going to say high noon, right? Anyways, so as you can see, there is a limited time to get this stuff. So the physical versions are important, everybody. And that's why I love limited run games. I mean, seriously. There's nobody out there doing stuff like this. Just nobody. These are some of the best game guys. I think they should get a promotion, to be honest. Now, before we go any further, it was pretty much me who sent stuff into them telling them we need this. Okay? And they were like, great idea. Now I've got some more ideas for them. We're going to be working on some other games. They're going to be doing even more X-Men collabs. You might be asking yourself, where is the collector's edition for this? Well, they're working on that. They're going to do another edition, most likely, and it's going to come with special stuff. Now, you notice it says it comes with a foil cover or a booklet with foil and stuff, and they got some special stuff there. I obviously ordered all three of these because I can't help myself. But I know what it means to be physical. So I will be doing an unboxing on this in the future. Not just that, but future game ideas for these guys is going to be stuff like, okay, they've already done a lot of stuff as it is, but the one thing that I haven't really mentioned a lot of, and it has to do with 3DO, and I'm not talking about 3DO games necessarily. We're talking about Might and Magic. Might and Magic was a game that was on the PC, and it sold like hotcakes. Now, that game is extremely hard to find, but to come back out with that again, oh boy. So, I am going to be in contact with some of the developers soon and see about what could be done about that. Now, this is a older genre of people, but the newer kids have no idea what they're missing from the 90s. This was what we came home to play and rented from Blockbuster, video game stores, everything. We went to the arcade to play this X-Men game. That's what we went there to do. It was that, or it was Mortal Kombat. That simple. And that's all we did, was like, everything was like X-Men. My buddy Jeff, he would always do the Colossus thing and attack you, or he'd get you with the Wolverine claws. And, I always tried being Wolverine because everybody loves Wolverine, right? But he was really into it. He is like a 7 foot tall guy, He was real big, and Jeff was well known for being like Colossus. He would always like rush you, it's like, if you guys were like gonna attack him, he was the kind of guy it was fun, So we always had an imagination that we were these comic book characters, and my hearts go out to the game developers for making this, and hopefully Jeff hears me on this. If I can find him, I'm going to buy him the game. As far as it goes, everybody, I would say buy this game now, before it's too late, before it's not available, because it says May 24th. I know that gives you some time to get the physical now. Pre-orders, they're taking pre-orders, and now's the time. And not just that, but if they make Might and Magic, it doesn't just mean the older genre of people that played that. Might and Magic was a game that you could sit down and play for days. I mean, literally, you guys want to talk about World of Warcraft, that's where these games came from. You want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons and all that? Might and Magic was the center of all of that. You really went out there and trained your characters and got them leveled up. Mandate of Heaven, For Blood and Honor, all those games were awesome for the PC. And if they could possibly put these games on the Xbox or the PlayStation or even the Switch for Might and Magic, that would be awesome. Now, Might and Magic actually goes deeper than what they might know. What I'm going to tell you right now is Might and Magic actually came out on the Nintendo 8-bit system. Yeah. And it even came out on the Super Nintendo. There's Might and Magic 1, 2, and 3. And maybe even 4. I'm not too sure. They did something there. But these were like crappier versions of the PC. The PC version was ultimate. So imagine if they can do that. And there's even more games I have coming soon. But I'm not going to release every idea I have, because if I do, people take it and run with it. Limited run. Anyways, I do love the limited run guys. If I don't stop buying from them, I'm going to go broke. If I ever go broke and I have to sell my house, I'm going to have to look at limited run games and say, hey man, this is your guys', But anyways. Okay, so, not just that, but imagine a collector's edition of exactly this. A full X-Men collector's edition. Comes with signed stuff, X-Men, all kinds of stuff. The video cartridge being hologram, foil, all kinds of cool stuff. Having possible cards from Marvel Masterpiece. Look that stuff up, because that's what we did as kids. That was really the time period that we were living in. And it was all about getting those foil hologram cards, and that's where we were with the hologram cards back then. It was awesome. Imagine if limited run games could get us a poster that's not folded, it's a rolled poster. So it's a rolled poster. Think of a poster that's at least a foot or 2 foot. Okay, think of that rolled up, and it's a massive hologram from one of the Marvel Masterpiece cards. Imagine if they could do that. Okay, now these guys here, give them some ideas and hit them up. Go to their Twitter, their X account, and tell them about ideas that you have for X-Men Collector's Edition. So that way you can get a hold of it. Now, of course, I've made the mention to them, you need to let it run longer than what it does to get your orders in, so that way you know how many people want it. Do not close out the deal and make it extremely limited anymore. Stop doing that. You had fun with that, with Doom, and that's great and all, But there's a lot more people out there in the world, and if they knew or had a chance, they would buy it up in a heartbeat. So you get more sales and get more money for your company if you do that. Leave the window open longer. Give them a few days. Say you have the whole weekend to buy this thing. Now's the time. Something. Anyways, so let's get to gameplay and check this stuff out, everybody. Badass. Thanks, Limited Run Games. Alright, so let's check out the game. This is really cool. Whoa, man. Alright, so here, when you first enter the game, you're going to notice that it says Game Select, Music Player, Archives, and Options. Of course, we have all of the coolest games. So what's really cool about this is, take a look. It says you can play online and offline. And whenever you go to play online, there's several options here. First, this is offline. As you can see, you can set it to 6 players for offline. So imagine. Also, it gives you the ability to level select, which is really cool, and you can set the difficulty. Really awesome. Now, playing online, you have other people you can join up with and your friends. So that's even better. So just imagine playing this game with you and your friends. Let's check these out. Okay, so now there's even more games. So we have Captain America. And as you can see, you have the arcade version of Captain America that came with like the arcade 1-up that you could also find at the arcade. And then we have the Mega. When it says Mega down there, that means Sega Genesis, the Mega, And then the 8-bit is actually the original Nintendo version. Now this is a really rare version. I rented this game when it came out, and I played it and almost beat it. I think I may have beat it. I took it really far, I remember. Like, I was really good at actually playing this because I figured out how to do it, and I got really, really far on it. And, after that, it was later down the road that I ended up actually buying this game. So this one's actually a rare type game, if you ask me, because you really don't see it anywhere. Whenever you go to like game collector places, you won't see this game. So let's go on to the next game. So we got Maximum Carnage here, which is for the Super Nintendo and for the Sega Genesis. And of course, both versions, one has a little bit different this and that and sounds. They both, see, this day and age, game companies don't compete properly anymore like they used to. I mean, it was literally neck and neck with, Nintendo and Sega Genesis back in the 90s. It was crazy. And so this day and age, imagine, you hear that Wolverine is coming out for the PlayStation 5. Well, Xbox needs to say, well, hey, can you guys make me a Wolverine game? But instead, it'll be altered and different than the actual one that's for the PlayStation. And we want our graphics to be better. And we want the story to be like this or something, So it was always a battle between the two companies, Nintendo and Sega. So just imagine if they did that this day and age. You had it with almost every game back then. So here we have Separation Anxiety, and I obviously own this. When I first seen this one, this was actually at my buddy's house. He had it on the Sega, and that it was later that I went to Blockbuster and seen it for Super Nintendo. I didn't even know it came out for Super Nintendo. Of course, I was so busy being a kid. We were so busy all the time. So I rented it, and next thing you know, I own it. And then we have Spider-Man, X-Men, Arcade Revenge. Now this game, I thought originally only came out on the Super Nintendo, but apparently it was everywhere. Because when I bought it, it was for the Super Nintendo. I didn't buy it for Sega or Game Gear. So when you see down here it says it says Gear, that means Game Gear. Now portable, that must be on the Game Boy, which I didn't even know it came out on the Game Boy. So if it wasn't for limited run games, we may not know everything. Of course I'm a game collector, but not that big of a game collector to have it all, right? So, yes, it's really cool to be able to see this and be able to play the Game Boy version. So, I would advise you guys to really check this out. And so let's go on to the next one. So, they brought something that was probably the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. So, here we have Silver Surfer for the Nintendo. And it was the hardest game I ever played. I don't understand how anybody got any. The only way we were able to beat this game, the only way was with the Game Genie. And you guys know this. Anybody that ever plays this game, you die. You die. You die. Aren't you supposed to be Silver Surfer and be invincible and be unstoppable? You know what I mean? I mean, seriously, you're supposed to be like, you know, Silver Surfer, like unstoppable or something, you know? I don't get it. So this was actually a very hard game. We originally rented this game, and it was way too damn hard. We quit playing it literally, like, probably within the first 10 minutes. It was it was a Saturday night. I think we had Jeff over, and we were just kicking it. And we went to Blockbuster, if I remember. Now, there's a chance it was another video store like Pick a Video or somewhere, but I'm not sure. So I remember we rented like 3 games that night, though. And we played this one, and we played some other games. And, of course, as kids, we didn't go to bed till 3 in the morning, you know. But this game here, we really just couldn't beat it. Basically, I got a hold of a Game Genie, and of course, back then Game Genies were all over, and that's how this was originally beat by me. So, that was a horrible game, don't want to talk about it, but, you know, it's great that it's on here because, I hate to tell you, but if they make it to where you can actually beat this thing, that would be crazy. So, also, something I want to touch base on is, with all these games, you have all these options, so it tells you how to play. And then you got the screen size, your basic, and then you can go 4:3, and then you can go full screen, which is awesome. You can put filters on like CRT, which makes it look originally. And it does really look like CRT. And you can put borders on it where it has the background, like artwork, and there's different artworks for each of the games, and I love that. Well done, limited run games. Oh my god, I love you. So, obviously you can save the game, so if you're doing really good, save, and then come back to it when you think you can handle it. Because some of these games can be some button mashers. Now, let's get back to checking out what else is in store. So the cool thing is that they have a music player on here. So any game that you select on here, like let's go to the very first one. So this one here is the demo titles, and if I remember, Heroes is. So obviously you click on it, and that's like the very beginning theme song to the actual arcade version. And so it's got all their stuff in here for the game. And so you can go to different versions. If you look down to your right, you can see the 8-bit version of Captain America, which has all the music, which is really cool. And then you got the arcade version, the Mega version, which is obviously Sega. And then we have Maximum Carnage in here. Now, Maximum Carnage was really an awesome game. You could play Venom or Spider-Man, and we always picked Venom. But whenever I played this originally, I think it was on Sega. But I was a Super Nintendo fan, so I had to have it for Super Nintendo. Unfortunately, I didn't own it for the Sega Genesis. I think, you know, we had played over at friend's house and rented it and stuff like that, but this was a very, very good game. I don't think we could beat it, though. So then, obviously, Super Nintendo with the soundtracks, really cool. And then Separation Anxiety, which I own. Sega Genesis soundtrack, Super Nintendo soundtrack. And then we have the X-Men and Spider-Man Revenge. Now, this game, originally I had rented this game with a buddy named Brian. He passed away, unfortunately. And I'm going to miss the guy, but this was the first Spider-Man X-Men game that me and Brian played together. So we actually played it on the Super Nintendo. So this was the version, and we couldn't make it anywhere with Spider-Man. We couldn't figure out what the hell to do. You basically are going around collecting little spider senses or whatever they are, and it was really weird, you know. So obviously they have the soundtracks for the Sega and for the Super Nintendo, and then you know, portable and Game Gear. And then of course we have the soundtracks for Silver Surfer, and it says 8-bit, which is kind of funny because I don't know why they don't just say NES or Nintendo, but they would probably have to buy rights for saying NES or Nintendo, which I don't blame them, but it's probably going to come up in the credits or come up in the beginning of the game somewhere with something with Nintendo. But unfortunately, this allows you to own Nintendo games without having to pay Nintendo. So this is really awesome. Now, what's really cool is they got the archives here. Okay, so they have the manuals for these games here, which obviously I have manuals for many of them. But you know, so there was something really weird. I think if you look at the Super Nintendo manuals, they were color. Okay? And when you go back and look at the Sega ones, they were always black and white. And I think that's because Sega was running out of money, or just they didn't want to pay for the extra. So every time I went and bought a game, that's why I didn't like Sega. I was like, dude, their manuals are black and white, and like all of Nintendo's are like color. But there are some black and white game manuals for Nintendo, believe it or not. So yeah, so this game here for the X-Men Spider-Man one, you'll notice here, when you go to the Mega, it's black and white, okay? And you go to the Game Gear, it's black and white, which I will show you in an upcoming video soon. And the Super Nintendo, check this out, all color. Pretty crazy, huh? You wouldn't figure, but, you know, they had it colorized. They really did. So that's how it was back then, everybody. Now, other than all that, also they have box art, which I'm surprised they did any kind of box art, and they sure did. Captain America 8-bit version. So I'm thinking they got a hold of, they scanned these somehow. As you can see, there's like boxware on the actual thing. I don't even know if this is even a real image or AI or what, you know. It's impossible to find an actual box that's mint condition, and all those game collectors are not going to come off of their originals, especially mint condition originals. And for you to break open one of those sealed containers just to take pictures, it ain't going to happen anymore. Now, you do have like the original box art, probably from you know, you could actually find real pictures of it, I'm sure, out there. I do have some games that are actually mint condition boxes, but I wouldn't take them apart just to show pictures like this. So I don't know how they did this, but these are just images right here, because the box art on Sega, they're just little pamphlets slid into the cool thing about Sega is the games came in a plastic container like VHS or you know, video, you know, movies and shit. And when you look at the way that Nintendo did it, it was all cardboard, you know. So we knew the cardboard wasn't going to stick around. So yeah, really cool that they have this box art. And, you know, I'd like to thank them a lot for being able to show this to everybody. The Super Nintendo, obviously, I own this. And their box art's kind of worn there. But this game was really hard. I remember somehow playing as other characters on this, so I'm not too sure. Gambit's level was the coolest level. So I'm not understanding why it started as Spider-Man. Maybe you have to beat the game or beat the first area with Spider-Man, and then you can pick any other X-Men you want after that. But it's been so long I can't remember how it goes, so don't quote me. Then they have the advertisements for everything, and you know, that's really cool that they were able to find the advertisement. Someone thought of that. So hats off to you game developers out there with limited run games. Well done. We also have official artwork. So believe it or not, there was some artwork and like posters and stuff that they put out back then, and this was a poster I really wanted, and now you can actually buy this poster, but back then it was hard to get your hands on it. So this was actually a poster. I'm not too sure why. I've seen some of these pictures in, was it Nintendo Power maybe? Anyways, this was a poster, and one of my friends had it, and I really wanted it for my room. I just had all kinds of stuff. So design documents, believe it or not, they only have this one, but I don't know if anything unlocks or what. But this says 94, somebody wrote on there. And they have all these things, and there's even a drawing somewhere if I remember correctly. And they've got all kinds of stuff in here. See, there's a drawing. And so, yeah, really, really well done. They did a great job with this. And then in the options, obviously, you can have volume level higher, English, credits, licenses. So here's the problem with licenses. We all know that limited run games, you have to get the games while they're available. If you do not do it within a certain time frame, they're not going to keep paying for the license if nobody's buying the game. Say it's had its run and nobody's buying it. Well, then it's time for them to stop paying for the license for it to be available to buy. So that's kind of how it works right now, unfortunately, guys. And with this day and age, we just seen Jurassic Park get delisted because nobody was buying it. And I didn't even know it was really out. I was so busy and stuff. I remember seeing it and I was like, oh man, and then I had to get it. And so, it's just one of those things. Apparently it went on sale, but I would definitely recommend this Maximum Collection. It's good for the old and the new. The kids these days, they have no idea what they're missing. So have your kids sit down, play with your kids, or get the word out there about this, because this isn't the only thing that limited run is going to do with X-Men. And if you know me, I'm going to be bugging them about all kinds of additional content. We're going to be trying to get them to do some 3DO games, possibly Might and Magic for the computer. There's a lot of stuff that we need to come out, and these are the guys that are going to be able to do it for you. And so all of you people out there, we need to get the word out that there is a group of people making games for the old style gamer and the new style gamers that get to learn. Oh yeah. So thanks for joining us here. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Subscribe.
Zombie Apocalypse.